Execute Order 66.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Sector for Nerds. I'm Ryan Brower, and today is a very special day for two reasons. First reason, today is the 1-year birthday of my channel, Sector for Nerds, so I'm very happy about that, and I'm very excited. I was kind of hoping to do a little bit more today, but given the current circumstances that we're living in, it kind of made it hard to do so. So maybe next year we'll do something big, like, you know, throw a party, put it on the channel, have a cake and everything, because I think, personally, that'd be kind of exciting to record. But secondly, and I think more importantly, and as Fives would say, it's bigger than any of us, from the Lost Missions, obviously, I just quoted there, Clone Wars. Holy crap. Dave literally teased us. For the first, 5-10 minutes of the episode, it was like, it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen, and everything was like, the mood felt different. Everything about the first 5-10 minutes of this episode felt different, between the music and just the way everything looked and felt. Just, oh my gosh. They were showing scenes from Revenge of the Sith, you know, the whole I sense a plot to destroy the Jedi thing. And then after Yoda says, great care we must take, Ahsoka and Rex walk in. So now when I watch Revenge of the Sith, I'm gonna be like, oh hey, so now after this, Ahsoka comes here, and it's like, it's great when everything connects. I love it. And then Bo-Katan, Ursa Wren was there. She didn't talk, but she was without her helmet. And then Maul was in that freaking capsule thing that looked really cool. But let's get what we all came here to talk about today, and that is Order 66. Because like I said, it was coming, we all knew it. The moment when that officer said, you know, we're getting a report from the other room, just some briefings or whatever, and I'm like, this is it. This is it. This is totally it. And I'm just sitting there on the edge of my seat the whole time, because this entire time, I'm just waiting for it to happen, and I'm curious to see what Rex is going to do. And then Ahsoka senses Revenge of the Sith, and, you know, the unlimited power, you know, and the Force lightning. What I loved so much about this moment, too, is it was like Hayden Christensen and Ian McDiarmid talking, but then at the end, you had Matt Lanter's Anakin go, what have I done? Which I thought was a nice added touch. And then it cuts to Sidious in the other room on a hologram telling Rex, execute Order 66, taken right out of Revenge of the Sith. And Ahsoka walks in, and I'm just realizing, I'm like, it's happening. Like, we've waited all this time, and now it's happening. And the clones are raising their guns at her, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then Rex turns around and he says, no, I'll do it myself. So for a moment, I'm like, what's about to happen? And Rex, he says, find him. Find Fives. And I'm sitting there like, the chips, of course. Then Ahsoka tackles Rex. She starts deflecting bullets at a bunch of other clones. A bunch of clones walked in, and they're just like, Jesse was one of them. They're all shooting at Ahsoka. Ahsoka's just sitting there on a holo table like a freaking badass, just defending herself against all these clones with her lightsabers. Ki-Adi-Mundi couldn't even defend himself from one side, and here Ahsoka is being surrounded, and she's still managing to hold her own. And she gets up, and she manages to get away. It was just sad seeing, you know, the clone troopers with the Ahsoka Tano helmets chasing after her, and them being, you know, a part of Order 66 too. It sucks. And then Ahsoka goes into this one room, and she finds R7, which obviously, I knew who it was right away, but for those who don't know, R7 was the droid that followed her into battle in the Ryloth episode in season 1. So that's a connection from way back in the beginning of Clone Wars. So I thought that was cool that that R7 was there. They also had 2 other droids there. One of them sounded like Chopper, and immediately I was like, Dave, I swear to God, if you voiced a droid in Clone Wars, I go to the credits at the end, Dave Filoni voiced him. Of course he did. You couldn't help yourself, Dave, could you? Ahsoka also ends up rescuing Maul from his prison chamber that they put him in, and Maul tries to be like, ah, yes, good, you finally decided to join me, and Ahsoka's like, yeah, no, I'm not joining you, I just need you to be a diversion, which was kind of harsh, but, you know, I'm still sitting there like, I kind of want Ahsoka to join Maul, because it's like, I mean, I get at this point it's too late, but it's just like, first of all, I just want to see those two team up because it's really cool, but I also want them to, stop the events of Revenge of the Sith, you know what I'm saying? But apart from that, I think we'll probably get a team up between them in the next episode, and that would be great considering that, Ahsoka and Maul are 2 of my favorite characters in all of Star Wars, and then Obi-Wan is also in that top 3 as well. Ahsoka gets her droids to help her find the lost file that Captain Rex had reported on Fives, and so once she finds it, she's able to lure Rex into a trap. They're able to kind of capture him, bring him to the medical bay, and they're there to then scan scan him and try to remove the chip. Now, let's talk about a scene that, you know, Darth Vader in Rogue One had probably the best hallway scene in Star Wars. But then Maul just came into this episode and went, hold my lightsaber, and completely turned that around. Because that man was killing everyone. He beheaded clone troopers. I dare someone to still, like, watch what we just watched and then tell me that it's a kid's show, because it's not. Maul frickin' beheaded 2 clones, and then he, you know, pushed, like, one of the panels into their chest, which was pretty dark, and then to top all that off, then he force pulls a clone's arm, the door shuts, and the guy's arm falls off. Like, I mean, granted, they didn't show, like, any blood or anything, but, like, come on, that's still, like, not kid stuff, you know what I'm saying? So Ahsoka goes over to Rex, and she's, like, holding his head and trying to, like, I think trying to use the Force to find the chip, and she's saying, I'm one with the Force and the Force is with me. I'm one with the Force and the Force is with me, which obviously a lot of us know, you know, that's what Chirrut would say a lot in Rogue One. So that is an interesting connection there. I don't know the whole history behind the whole I'm one with the Force and Force is with me quote. So if that was something that started in Rogue One and now they've put into Clone Wars, maybe that means Ahsoka knows the Guardians of the Whills. Maybe, like, maybe she'll end up meeting Chirrut and Baze eventually, like, in between, like, Clone Wars and Rebels at some point. You know, there's a lot of time in there, so she could have met them then at some point for her to pass her knowledge to, if you will. So the clones are able to break into the medical bay, and I'm sitting there like, you know, again, if this was... you know, credit to Dave and his team, because this final, like, minute of the episode, they did make it look like Ahsoka was gonna die, between her trying to fend off against all the clones trying to fight their way into the room, between Rex getting up and then getting a hold of his pistols. They, like, who's he gonna shoot? Is he gonna shoot Ahsoka? Is he gonna shoot the clones? Ahsoka gets shot in the hand, so she ends up losing one of her lightsabers, and she's still deflecting with other, and she's telling one of the droids to close the door, which kind of made me remember back to Jedi Fallen Order when spoiler alert, by the way, for those who haven't played Jedi Fallen Order, maybe fast forward a couple seconds, but when Master T'Pol yells at what's his face, Cal, to close the door controls, and then he ends up getting shot. Or maybe it was to open the door controls. I know it was with the escape pod and stuff, but you know what I mean? Like, it had that sort of vibe to it. So then Rex ends up getting conscious again, and he ends up shooting his own brothers, which, I mean, I know it's not the first time it's happened because of Umbara, but, like, that still had to have sucked for him. And then, you know, he says, thanks, kid, which he'd always used to call Ahsoka kid in, like, the Clone Wars movie, in the earlier Clone Wars episode, so I thought that was a nice connection. And he tells Ahsoka, like, this is happening everywhere. Like, all of us had the chips in our heads. We've been ordered to terminate all of the Jedi Knights for treason. I freaking loved this episode. Like I said, this is probably my second favorite episode of all time when it comes to Clone Wars, because I just loved Phantom Apprentice for everything that happened in there with, like, the Ahsoka Maul lightsaber fight. On top of that, we still have one more, so that could even top this episode in Phantom Apprentice, and, you know, this arc has been by far the greatest arc in all of Clone Wars, and I think probably now my new favorite arc of all time, like, as far as stuff that Dave has told, because I used to say that, like, that Twilight of the Apprentice was the best arc, but I think now I've probably changed that to Siege of Mandalore, because this arc has just been so well told and so well thought out. Dave wrote this personally, so I guess kudos to Dave more than anybody, because you, sir, you know how to tell Star Wars stories, I can tell you that much, and you've been doing this for years. What he's doing in the animation division is so absolutely amazing. Like, Clone Wars and Rebels, I feel like I say this all the time in my videos, but Clone Wars and Rebels are my 2 favorite aspects of Star Wars storytelling. It's crazy. Now we've gotten 3 Order 66 scenes between Revenge of the Sith, Jedi Fallen Order, and now Clone Wars. So we're coming down to the wire. If I had to make a prediction right now about what's going to happen in the next episode, first of all, I think the people that are cutting through that door, that's either Maul cutting through the door, or B, the clones are going to cut through the door, but then Maul's going to come in and rescue them, and then Ahsoka, Maul, and Rex are going to have to work together to get off of the ship, because I'm pretty sure they're still heading towards Coruscant, so that's going to be dangerous if they don't get out of there. Things could go south for them quickly. I'm curious to see how we get out of this, how Ahsoka, Rex, and Maul manage to escape. That's going to wrap up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, like us on Facebook, and I will see you guys next time.